Stella Baker, who writes, my boyfriend really got me into the Arrowverse, and I'm a big fan. But I can't help ignore that the leading show, Arrow, is now going on its seventh season. I've always wondered what would happen if any of these shows were to be canceled or not renewed. They can't all go on forever, obviously. How do you think that will be addressed in each show when the time comes? All right, thanks a lot for the question, Stella. And yeah, the Arrowverse shows are not going to go on forever, and they're pretty interconnected. As a matter of fact, we've got the new crossover event coming. I look forward to the Arrowverse crossover event every single year. Even last year, a year that I didn't love for as far as the Arrowverse goes, I still looked forward to the crossover event. And the crossover event last year, Crisis on Earth X, was probably the best thing the Arrowverse has ever done. I loved it. I ate it up. It was great. So they do a lot of interconnective stuff. But the question you ask is, with these shows being interconnected the way they are, what happens when one of the shows gets canceled? Because eventually they do. Even the best shows ever eventually end, right? I'm sure nobody at CW, not Stephen Amell, not anybody, nobody at CW, when they started this little Arrow show, thought it was going to hit its seventh season. They probably thought we'll get three, if we're good, if we're lucky, we'll get 3, maybe 4 seasons out. They're going to their 7th season. At some point, maybe next year, maybe 10 years from now, but at some point, Arrow's going to end. At some point, Flash will end. At some point, Legends of Tomorrow will end, Black Lightning will end, Supergirl will end, on and on and on, right? At some point, how does it affect this Arrowverse on television when they're interconnected the way they are? How's it going to affect the Arrowverse as a whole and the interconnectivity when one of these shows gets canceled? Honestly, I really don't think it's going to affect it all that much. I mean, look, think of it this way. We just recently had, not too long ago, like on Arrow, right? We had Constantine from his show that was canceled, and he's just able to breeze in. And the reality is, even though the Arrowverse has these crossover events, and from time to time they'll mention each other and stuff like that, the reality, the shows are not all that interconnected at all. They're really not all that interconnected until it comes time to do the annual crossover event. They'll mention each other once or twice, but it's not like every 3 episodes Oliver shows up in Star City to help out whoever. It's not like that happens. It's not like Flash shows up to help Oliver every 3rd or 4th episode on Arrow. So theoretically speaking, they could end the Arrow show, and still once in a while, they'll just say within the Arrowverse, yeah, the Green Arrow and, everything that the Team Arrow's doing off in their city, that still happens. We just don't see it. And then every blue moon, maybe once a year, Stephen Amell can guest star as Green Arrow. The bottom line here for me is this. Even once 1 or 2 of these shows starts getting canceled, depending on how they handle the cancellation, I really don't think it's going to cause that much disruption to the Arrowverse as a whole. I think as a whole, they're going to be perfectly fine. So I wouldn't worry about it.